welcome back to my channel. This video is basically going to be about my study methods. I did a vote on Instagram once again. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I really think you should. I'll post it below, and I'm going to be telling you about my study methods. Are you ready? Are you ready? So first thing first, you need to have an environment where you're going to prosper and make progress and don't get distracted, and basically be in tune with your studying. So what I do is I'm either in my room because that's my most comfortable spot. Like right now I don't have a desk, I just use my bed, but that's dangerous at night. So I'll tell you guys what I do at night. So if it's daytime, I'm up, I'm energized, I'll be in my bed studying because it's my most comfortable spot. You want to be comfortable when you're studying, not like uncomfortable, because then you're gonna want to not study. So for me, I have to be comfortable. My bed is like my #1 go-to during the day. What I do is I put on like music. So I don't mean like your everyday music playlist, like things you listen to every day. I'm talking about like a beat or like a jazz mix. I'll link you guys what I listen to every single time I study, and it's like really helpful. It's off of SoundCloud, so you're gonna need SoundCloud, and it's just basically it's called a chill hip hop like mix, and it basically just plays these beats for like an hour straight, and it's really good. So I have like 3 or 4, and I'll link them below so you guys can see what I'm talking about. They're awesome for studying, and play it at a low tone so you can hear it in the background, not too much of like loud, because then you're gonna be when it's nighttime and I'm trying to study at night, I cannot be in my bed. It's not gonna end well. I'm gonna get sleepy because I'm already here, so why not knock out, right? So I don't want to do that. What I do is I go to my dining room table in my house, and I basically make sure I'm sitting up in a chair or something. Even if I'm at the couch, like I'll make sure I'm sitting up. And coffee at night is like my #1 go-to. I really wasn't a fan of coffee at first, but like now I'm like, I need it. Like, give me my coffee. So it's very important for me to have a stimulant and be sitting up so I can stay focused, and that usually can run me for about 2 hours, 3 hours. If I'm really focused on my studying, I can sit up for like 3 hours if I'm not in my bed. So that's where I study at night. So this is an example of how I plan. I haven't really sat down and planned for my summer session, but this is just the previous semester. So I always put the holiday, because for some reason this planner doesn't have most of the holidays in it. I don't know, don't ask me. But I put when I'm gonna study, what time, and what about, and what quiz. What time, what about, just keep doing that over and over again. And I also add in when I work, so that way you see I work from 11 to 4:30. So I'm gonna study, I'm gonna come home, eat, shower, conversate, and then I'll start studying from 7 to 9 about this topic. And then this is when I had class, so I put when I have class, what we're gonna be talking about and what's due. And then studying, what time, 6 to 7. What are you gonna do? Review the notes. So I put everything that I'm gonna do. I have to include work because I need to know when I can study. Then I put clinicals. I have clinicals. This is what I need to do for clinical. Saturday I work. What time am I gonna study? 4 to 6. So it's things like that. And I color code everything. So studying is in green, clinicals in orange, work is in yellow, what the topics are. I had 2 classes, so this was med-surg 1. I put blue. Pharmacology, I put pink. So it's all about color coding for me, and basically keeping track of every single thing, whether it's work, studying, clinicals, like anything. You write it in here so you can keep track of your time, because time management is a big deal, guys. So this is my binder. I keep everything in here to just try to stay organized. At the front I have my schedule or my calendar for class, and I have color coded all the exam periods, and I put, well, I didn't put, my teacher put every topic that we're going to talk about every single day. So that really is helpful. You're going to need something like that. So when I open it, I have everything divided in like dividers, sticky notes, all the topics, very quick and easy to get to. So first one is exam 1. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow tabs in exam 1 because there's 4 topics that we're going to be tested over in exam 1. So how I do that is I take the calendar, look at all the topics before exam 1. These are the steps. Review your content list. Look at it so you know how to guide your reading, what notes you need to take, and what's the key information you need to know. Look at your content list. If you don't have a content list, that's okay. Skip that step. Go to the book. You go to the book and you read, right? You're reading your book. As you're making your own notes, you're taking out that key information that you think is important. So yes, it's going to take some time. Some chapters are bigger than others, but you got to dedicate that time. Once again, you got to read the entire chapter. This is the best way to point out key information. Now, if you don't feel like reading the whole chapter, you don't have to, but I really do. But I mainly focus on that content area, which is pretty much the whole book in our case. I mean, the whole chapter in our case. But you want to focus on that content. Make your own notes. I type them up. So I'm on my computer at this point typing these up. Okay? So then after that, I'll make a concept map. I'll make a concept map after that. Key information, key points, color-coded, pretty, all that kind of stuff. Okay? After that, this is still before class. You want to look at your professor's notes. Compare and contrast your notes. Did you write too much? Did you write too little? Like, what's going on with your notes? And then you can edit from there. Print it out. Okay. You're done with before class. Now you're ready for class. So when you get to class, what I do is I have my pens ready and I be writing in basically key information that the teacher says that wasn't on the notes, because this happens a lot. So for instance, AIDS. This is the criteria. I wrote the key points that I found in the book, but she also wanted us to know what wasting syndrome was. It's 10% or more. 10% or more. And that was a key point that was not in her notes. It wasn't in my notes, so I added it. Stuff like that. You're just going to be in class. You already got your notes. You're reading along with her. And oh, key information. Let me write that. You know? So that's what you do in class. You print out your notes you made previously and you write in key information. Okay? Key information. Now these sticky notes, I use them to basically write in the things I need to go and review because she spent time on it. Okay? She spent time on these topics in class. I need to review these when I get home. So that's about basically what's going to be done in class and how to study in class. Okay? So to the book. This is what you need to look at before you even get to class. I feel like reading the book after class is kind of slowing down your understanding of the information. So before you get to class, you should read the chapter that's going to be discussed and highlight. This is basically all the stuff I put in my notes. Everything I highlighted was put in my notes. And it's a lot of key information, so you just got to figure out how to extract it. So I'll show you guys how I did one section. So I'm going to use this box to show you guys how I condensed this information into my notes. A simple transition. So you have to remember that your notes are supposed to be short and sweet to the point. If you make it long and drastic, you're not going to want to read your notes. You can always refer back to this table. You don't need to put all this information on your notes. Put the key points. So, for instance, number 1 was CD4 T cell count drops below 200. Key point, CD4 T cell count falls below 200. Number 2, one of the following opportunistic infections. Again, my teacher didn't go into detail about what kind or how many or None of that. She just said no, that they have opportunistic infections: fungal, viral, protozoal, bacterial. Again, number 2 bullet point, has an opportunistic infection. Okay, number 3, one of the following opportunistic cancers. So then number 3 has an opportunistic cancer. And then number 4, wasting syndrome. You see that definition? Wasting is defined as a loss of 10% or more. You don't need to write that whole sentence. Wasting syndrome equals cachexia, 10% or more. Easy. You can always refer back to your book. That's why you bought it. You don't need to take this whole chart and put it in your notes. You have to figure out how to condense the information. So once you read this chart, say you read the whole thing, right? And then now you're rereading your notes. If you say, oh, I know opportunistic cancers because I read it. It was one of these. You remember this chart in your head now, but this makes you remember. It's a key point. It's not about extracting the whole section and putting it in your notes. So that's very important to master. It took me a while to master that, but you can do it. You just have to figure out, okay, I bought this book. I can always refer back to the book if I need to. So when you're reading your notes and you see something like, oh, I forgot what that is, go to your book. Look at your book, reread it. Rereading is a big, big part of understanding your notes and everything like that. This why you have the book. So I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that you don't need, I see a lot of people taking all this information and just throwing it in their notes. You're not going to want to read that. So speaking of reading, after class, after you've done your editing of your notes, sometimes I'll come home and I don't like the marks, so I'll rewrite them. But other times I like to keep the marks because, you know, it just reminds me of where to look and what key information that I missed. But you can rewrite your notes, retype your notes, and then have a new set of notes. Now, after class, you want to make sure, it doesn't have to be right after, but I say in the same day, read the entire thing. Don't read the book. Don't read your professor's notes. Read your notes, the entire thing. See, this topic, I made notes in 3 pages. It doesn't take a long time to read that information. Just run through it really quick and reread it right after class or a little bit after class or that night that you had class. Just read your notes. That's what you do immediately after class or the same day of class. Okay, so now that you guys can see how I do my notes, how I extract from the book, the steps I take to make my notes, to read the book, to go to class, to extract from the teacher, and rewrite my notes. This is what I do when it's crunch time. Like, you need to know this information, okay? So, say if your test is on a Monday, that whole weekend needs to be dedicated to studying. I say from Friday to Sunday, just grind. Split it up. You have to split up the topics. Do not try to study everything in one day. It's not gonna work. We all know that. If you're a college student, you know that. Some classes you can do that and be fine, like history or something, but it's a whole different ballgame with nursing school. So it's very, very important that you manage your time and just make sure you're splitting things up. So like I showed you guys, I have 4 topics, right, that the test was going to be about. Say the test was on a Monday. So that Friday, I'm going to dedicate my time to maybe 2 topics. The first 2 that I learned about, take those, reread everything, your notes, your concept maps. Make sure you read everything first. Try to see if you have an understanding. So after rereading everything, the second thing you want to do is find a way to retain the information if you're not getting it. If you're not getting the information, find a way. My way is my dry erase board. Again, if you've seen my video, my last video, I showed you guys how I use this thing. So I swear by this. This is like key, okay? After I read everything, I take little topics and I write it out. I don't even look at the notes. I write out everything I can think of about it. I look at it, I look at my notes, compare it, erase it, do it again. Until I can write out everything and not miss one thing, then I'm good. I move on to the next. But this is how I do it. This is how I retain information. I start off again by writing everything about that topic. So I put HIV up here, and I just write everything about HIV. AIDS criteria, clinical manifestations, diagnostics. I write everything out. If I miss something, I erase it, do it again. It takes time. Usually if I'm studying before a test, I study like 3 to 5 or 5 to 7 hours a day, especially the day before. I'm like spending all my time on studying. But just pace yourself, split topics up, and make sure you're getting the information. That's the most important part, is to get the information. Now, if this doesn't work for you, I have some other sources that I use as well. If the dry erase board method doesn't work for you, you can go to YouTube. YouTube has awesome videos on topics. If you go to nursing, registered nurse RN, she's great on breaking concepts down. But you can also, I'll link some other people who do like concept mapping and just breaking down the information in a way that you can understand it. They even have, like, some people like songs, like ABG, arterial blood gases. They have a song on that, how to memorize those things. So you just gotta go to YouTube, type in your topic, and look at videos. They'll break it down to you in a way that you never thought you could imagine. So YouTube is a key also. So dry erase board method, or you can go to YouTube, practice questions. This one is big, especially right before the test. You want to make sure you are doing practice questions, because what's the point of knowing all this information when you don't know how to apply it to a real life situation? Because nursing school questions are not going to be, what is respiratory acidosis? No. They're going to ask you, your patient has blah, 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 pH of this, oxygen level of this, CO2 level of this. What state are they in? And it's your job to know the definition of each one, yes, but how do you know? So that's another thing. You have to know how to apply the questions. Apply the material to the question. So most importantly is to do practice questions. So if my test is on a Monday, I am going to dedicate my time to doing practice questions the day before. I'm not going to try to study, read. I'm going to be more focused on practicing questions. Now, you can find practice questions anywhere. For my school, we actually have like a, what is it called? One of those things you got to buy to do quizzes on. So we buy that, access code, that's what I'm looking for. And it has quizzes on there, practice questions, and I do those all day. So, all right guys, thank you so much for tuning into my video. I hope my study methods are very helpful, and I hope you guys can really take the information and prosper. This is all I'm about: positivity, prospering, motivation. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and don't forget to like this video, thumbs up this video if you found this very helpful. So thanks again, and I'll be back.